Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're looking at what it takes to be like a really advanced English speaker. Like not just, getting by, but
Right.
really,
Yeah.
like, wow, you speak English so well.
Exactly.
And to help us, we have an expert.
Hello. Welcome. It's great to be here.
Now, the source material that we have today is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It's a script for a podcast episode. That's a test.
Yeah.
For non-native speakers to see what level they are.
It's fascinating because I think native speakers would have trouble with this too.
Yeah. And that's why we're diving into it.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about like the structure of this test.
Okay, so it's 10 multiple choice questions.
Okay.
3 possible answers for each.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, A, B, or C kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's vocabulary, idioms, grammar.
Oh.
Really subtle stuff.
Okay.
So if you get 0 to 4 correct answers, you're intermediate.
Okay.
5 to 7, you're upper intermediate. Okay. 8 to 10, you can claim that advanced level.
Okay.
Pretty impressive.
All right. So let's jump into some of these things. Like what kind of vocabulary are we talking about here?
Okay, so one question asks for a synonym for the word ephemeral.
Okay.
Now, knowing that it means temporary is one thing.
Right.
But think about how a deeper understanding of the word can impact your communication.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just saying something's temporary, you can evoke a sense of like fleeting beauty or the bittersweet nature of change.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's adding a whole other layer of meaning to your expression.
So it's not just about knowing what the word means,
Right.
but how to like use it
Exactly.
like a real pro.
Precisely. And that's just one example.
Okay.
The test also has idioms, which can be fairly difficult for language learners.
Yeah, those are tricky.
Yeah.
Those are those things that make perfect sense to a native speaker. But if you're learning English, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
So one that comes to mind is burn the midnight oil,
Okay,
which means to work late into the night.
right.
But imagine trying to figure that out.
If you'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oil. Burning oil.
Midnight.
It paints such a vivid picture, though.
It does, yeah.
It conjures these images of flickering lamplight and just like the quiet dedication to like achieve your goal.
Yeah, it's almost romantic.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you had to have the oil lamp to burn to stay up late.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
I also think sometimes I take for granted how much cultural knowledge is just like baked into these expressions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that actually leads perfectly into one of the other questions. He uses the phrase take a rain check,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
which means to reschedule, but its origins lie in a uniquely American pastime, baseball.
It does.
Like it's so specific to that.
Yeah, it's really specific.
That if you didn't know that's where it came from,
Yeah.
you'd have no idea.
No.
Like rain and check.
Yeah, and games postponed due to rain.
Right.
If you got a rain check, you can attend a future game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so interesting.
It is really interesting.
That like mastering a language isn't just about memorizing words and rules,
Yeah.
but it's about understanding like the cultural tapestry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really neat.
And that cultural understanding goes hand in hand with a strong grasp of grammar.
Okay, so let's talk about grammar.
All right.
What are some of the more challenging aspects of grammar that this test throws at you?
Okay, so one question tests your knowledge of the third conditional.
The third conditional.
What is that? So those if he had known constructions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those always like my brain do a little twist.
I know. It's like, what? But what's really interesting about them is that it allows us to explore like hypothetical situations in the past,
Oh.
and play with the idea of alternate realities.
Like, what if I'd done this?
Exactly.
What if I hadn't done this?
What if I had taken that job?
Right.
What if I hadn't missed that flight?
Yeah.
You ever find yourself pondering those what ifs?
Oh, all the time.
Right.
It's like you have a secret superpower to rewind time,
Yeah.
to imagine those different outcomes.
And being able to express those complex thoughts grammatically is like a sign of true fluency.
Okay.
But it doesn't stop it there.
Oh, no. There's more?
It also has the future perfect tense,
Oh.
which is by this time next year, I will have completed.
See, now that one always trips me up.
It's tricky.
Yeah. What makes it so tricky?
So it's all about like accurately expressing actions that will be completed before a specific point in the future.
Right.
So it's like you're juggling multiple time frames in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to articulate that relationship clearly.
Yeah.
But when you can master it, it adds a level of sophistication and precision to your speech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got challenging vocabulary, quirky idioms.
Yes.
Mind-bending grammar.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, it wouldn't be a true test of advanced English without some phrasal verbs and collocations.
Oh, yes. Those are fun.
Oh, they're so fun.
Those little combinations of words that can either make you sound like a native speaker
Yep.
or like you have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one phrasal verb that's considered advanced is put up with,
Okay.
which means to tolerate.
Right.
It's not just the meaning that's important here, though. It's the subtle ways it's used.
Okay.
So a native speaker would instinctively know that you put up with an annoying neighbor,
Right.
but you wouldn't put up with, like, a delicious meal.
Right.
It just sounds weird.
Yeah, it just sounds wrong.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it advanced, is like, those little nuances.
Yeah.
And then there are collocations. These are those specific word pairings that just sound right to a native ear.
Yeah.
So we say strongly agree,
Right.
but we wouldn't say deeply happy.
Right. You would say very happy.
Yes, exactly.
Or something. Yeah.
And so knowing which words naturally go together is another hallmark of an advanced speaker. Like, they've developed an intuitive sense of what sounds natural and fluent.
It's almost like, they're not thinking about the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they just know.
It just sounds right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that these collocations often defy strict grammatical rules.
Right.
It's more about developing an ear for the language, almost like a musician would an ear for harmony.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to just absorb it
Yeah.
through exterior, right? This is all so insightful.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like, it really makes you think about language
I know.
on such a deeper
It's
level.
not just like,
Yeah.
it's so much more.
Yeah.
But hold on, we've covered a lot already.
Yeah, we have.
Let's take a moment to gather our thoughts. We'll be right back to explore even more of these insights from this deep dive into advanced English.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're back and we are talking about, what it takes to be an advanced English speaker.
Yeah.
As we were talking before about those phrasal verbs and collocations, it really struck me that this test wants to know that you can actually use the language, not just that you can recognize it.
Yeah, you got it.
It's
It's not just about the definition.
yeah.
Take the question about scrutinize.
Okay.
Knowing that it means to examine carefully
Okay.
is good.
Right.
But an advanced speaker wouldn't just define it.
Right.
They would be able to just weave it seamlessly into a sentence.
Yeah.
Like the detective scrutinized the crime scene
Yeah.
for clues.
Right.
It's about taking that word and making it your own.
It's like the difference between knowing the ingredients for a cake and actually baking it.
That's a great.
You can have all the right elements,
Yeah,
but it's the skill to put it all together.
that's good. Yeah. And that level of mastery, I think, applies to every aspect of language, from the vocabulation, grammar, to the idioms and collocations.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond the textbook
Right.
and into that realm of true fluency,
Yeah.
where you can express yourself with confidence,
Yeah.
clarity,
Yeah.
even a match of elegance.
Right. One of the other questions that I thought was kind of interesting was the word formation.
Okay.
It asked for the word that describes someone who writes plays.
Uh-huh.
And obviously the answer is playwright.
Playwright.
But it got me thinking about
Yeah.
how we form words.
What's so cool about the word playwright
Yeah.
is that it's not just some random collection of letters.
Right.
It's this beautiful example of how language reflects deeper cultural values and historical connections.
Yeah.
So write comes from an Old English word
Okay.
meaning maker
Okay.
or builder.
It's like a playmaker.
It's literally a maker of plays.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So even in that one word,
Yeah.
we can find all this
History and culture.
connections. Yeah.
Every word has a story.
It's like a story. Yeah. And for those who are truly dedicated to mastering a language,
Right.
those hidden stories become more and more apparent,
Yeah.
unraveling those connections,
Yeah.
exploring the etymology of words.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of richness and depth.
Absolutely.
You ever find that exploring the origins of words
Uh-huh.
enhances your appreciation?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world
Yeah.
opens up, and suddenly, like you said, it's not just these random sounds,
Right.
but they have this meaning,
They have this history.
this history and connection.
Yeah, and as you become more attuned to those nuances, you start to see those connections everywhere.
Yeah.
Prefixes, suffixes, root words,
Yeah.
they all tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you become a language detective.
Great way to put it. It is
Yeah.
a process of decoding.
Yeah, you're looking for the clues.
Yes, uncovering those hidden connections.
Yeah.
And constantly expanding your understanding
Yeah.
of how these words work together.
Yeah, and it's not even just about the technical aspects of the language,
Right?
we were talking about before, you
Yeah.
know, with like those idioms.
Like take a rain check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this whole other cultural dimension.
Absolutely. Language and culture are like totally linked.
Yeah.
You can't separate them.
Yeah.
To truly master a language, you need to immerse yourself
Right.
in its cultural context.
Yeah.
Which means not just learning the words,
Mm-hmm.
but understanding like the values,
The beliefs.
the humor that those words reflect.
Yeah.
You know?
Like those little idioms are like little windows into that
Like-
culture.
Like glimpses into
Yeah.
the psyche.
History.
The history.
The shared experience.
Yes. And I'm starting to realize that mastering a language
Mm-hmm.
is about so much more
Yeah.
than just being able to communicate.
Yeah, you're learning about the world.
You're expanding your horizons.
Yeah.
You're sharpening your cognitive skills.
Yeah. It's like you're learning a new way of thinking,
That's beautifully put.
you know?
I think that sense of personal growth
Uh-huh.
is one of the most rewarding aspects of language learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone,
Right.
embracing that challenge of complexity,
Yeah.
and ultimately like emerging with this richer,
Yeah.
more nuanced understanding of the world around you.
This has been so fascinating. Like,
Yeah.
it's really shifted my perspective on language learning.
I know, it's really cool.
It's not just about, you know, acquiring knowledge. It's this whole mindset
It is a mindset.
of curiosity
Yeah.
and exploration and continuous growth.
Yeah.
But hold on, there's still more to explore.
Okay.
We'll be right back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of advanced English. Okay, so we're back for the final part of our look at what it takes to be an advanced English speaker.
It's been really interesting, right? We've
Yeah.
really gone into like what sets those advanced speakers apart.
Yeah, like we've been saying, it's not just about the number of words, you
Right,
know,
right.
but like how deeply you understand them and
True.
how precisely you can use them.
Yeah, how you connect them
And all
to
that.
the culture, yeah.
Yeah, so as we kind of like wrap things up here,
Okay.
I've been thinking, what is the point?
What is the value?
Yeah, like why is it so important to
Right.
be an advanced English speaker?
Is it just to like
Yeah.
impress people?
Yeah, or is it?
Or is there something more?
Yeah, what is it?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
And it really gets at the heart of like
Mhm.
why they learn languages in the first place.
right.
So on a practical level,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Advanced language skills can open doors.
Right.
You know, they can help you with your career.
Yeah, for sure.
Travel, make it easier to communicate.
Yeah, navigating the world.
Yeah, but I think the real value
Okay.
is something much deeper.
What is it?
So think about it this way.
Okay.
Language is how we understand
Right.
and interact with
Yeah.
the world.
It's how we think.
It's how we connect with others.
Yeah.
So the better we are with language,
Right.
the richer our lives.
It's not just about communication then.
No, it's about being human,
Wow.
you know?
Okay.
So with an expanded vocabulary,
Mhm.
you can like see things
Yeah.
that you might not have otherwise noticed.
Yeah, like the subtleties.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can savor a complex idea,
Yeah.
appreciate a well-written sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and with grammar, you know,
Yeah.
you can build an argument,
Right.
make your point.
Express yourself.
Yes. And with an understanding of the culture
Right.
and those idioms,
Yeah.
you can really connect with people
Yeah, on a deeper level.
on a much deeper level.
Yeah.
So it's like language is this key.
It unlocks that.
It unlocks new perspectives and possibilities.
Yeah, and it's been so
It
fascinating
really has.
to explore this.
It is, Beth.
Like it's really changed how I think about language learning.
Good.
It's not about acquiring knowledge. It's about like
So mindset,
it's a mindset. Yeah.
curiosity, exploration.
Yeah. Always growing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up.
Okay.
I want to thank you for joining us and helping us to understand all of that.
It was my pleasure.
And to everyone listening,
Keep learning.
keep learning, keep exploring.
That's right.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive. 7 2 minutes.